What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we need to talk about Sundial Growers, ticker symbol SNDL, because something just changed for this stock. It's relatively important to know at the very least. It's not the biggest change in the world. It's a change of a certain date that some people have been waiting for. Now, you guys are probably thinking it's the Alcanna acquisition date. No, it is not. It's actually the earnings call date that they just changed for Sundial. So look at this. They have Sundial pegged now at having their earnings on the 29th, according to this. All right, Sundial Growers year-end fourth quarter 2021 financial results on March 29th of 2022. So previously, we were actually expecting the earnings on the 17th. At least that's what the estimate was for. But Sundial has apparently changed their mind, or at least not gone along with what the estimates for when the earnings call would be are. So they're doing it on the 29th, about a week and a half later, which all in all isn't a bad thing. Now, this could actually mean that they want to do it after they've acquired Alcanna, which they are expecting the closing of the Alcanna merger to happen on or before March 30th. Now that since the earnings call is happening the 29th, maybe they're going to do the earnings call and then the next day do the Alcanna acquisition. But my guess is they want to get this under wraps before the earnings call potentially, and then maybe talk about it, or maybe do it on the day of the earnings call. Who knows what they're planning on with that? It's a strange situation, but regardless, they're going to have two very important dates coming up, right? March 29th is the earnings date for Sundial. We're going to talk about what might happen with Sundial on that date, and March 30th or earlier is the Alcanna merger acquisition agreement, right? So that's essentially when Alcanna shareholders are going to stop owning Alcanna shares, and in exchange for their Alcanna shares, they're going to own some Sundial shares and some cash. So they're potentially going to be either new Sundial stockholders or people who either quickly sell Sundial stock or potentially buy more of it. It's going to be a very interesting time seeing what goes on with that. But regardless, the earnings date is important for Sundial. Now, the last earnings call that we had was actually quite positive for Sundial. They pumped up during the after hours and pre-market actually to 99.99 cents, but during the day they were up as high as 96 cents almost. So impressive stuff the last earnings call. Now, I have mixed feelings about this next one. Obviously, I'm bullish on Sundial. I think that they'll be doing well in the future. This earnings call may not be as impressive as the last one, unfortunately, because of this. Inflation has been running rampant the past couple of months. That's probably going to take some kind of a hold on some companies' earnings, right? Especially Sundial, where they're selling a physical product. They're not a tech company who has limited costs, right? They have a cost associated with the cost of, or they have a cost associated with growing a certain amount of cannabis. And if inflation has rose by quite a bit, then we're going to see potentially a worse earnings call for Sundial this quarter, at least. Looking at the last couple of months of inflation, it's been rising pretty steadily. That's likely taken some kind of an effect on Sundial. We'll see what happens at this earnings call. Maybe they've found some way to work around the rise in inflation and have done well regardless. But I wouldn't be too worried about the short-term earnings news, right? Whether they move up or down doesn't matter so much in the long run for Sundial, because what we're really waiting for are the big legalization catalysts that are coming, starting probably in April, moving all the way through to November is probably when I would guess that we'd start hearing a lot of talks about legalization in April. That's when Chuck Schumer is going to introduce his cannabis legalization bill to the Senate. And as Senate Majority Leader, he has some sway there. He said it's a priority to get this thing done. And Amazon has also endorsed cannabis legalization bills led by Republicans. So over the course of the next couple of months, starting in April, we'll probably start to hear some pretty exciting news regarding cannabis legalization, and that will surely be good for Sundial stock, at least most likely, right? I can't imagine that Sundial stock doesn't start performing very well, as especially as retail starts to get excited about cannabis legalization. But we'll see what happens at this next earnings call. Just wanted to let you guys know what was going on with potentially the inflation situation, but also notably, Sundial did do good during the last one, so maybe they found a way to turn this thing around. And regardless of inflation, maybe they'll be doing pretty darn well. We'll see. They are near all-time lows, at least for the past year. If you look at the yearly chart, sorry, not the daily chart, the yearly chart, they're pretty darn low. And this is following trends with the overall market, right? The S&P has been suffering over the past couple of months. In fact, if you look at these over the past 90 days, they look somewhat similar, right? They look somewhat similar. Overall, the world is worried about Russia and Ukraine, and it's likely going to take a little bit of time to get past that whole issue, and for the whole stock market to really recover from that. That's going to be a bright spot for Sundial. Once the whole stock market starts recovering, hopefully Sundial will be on the way up as well. Hopefully that will happen sometime soon, And maybe the dates will coincide with when we start to see more serious talks regarding cannabis legalization. So all in all, there's exciting stuff going on in the world of Sundial. 2 dates to keep in mind. At some point before the 30th, we're expecting the Alcanna acquisition. And on the 29th, we've got the earnings call. So a couple of important dates to keep in mind with Sundial. There might be some volatility on those days whenever the Alcanna acquisition actually goes through, as well as on the 29th, right before and after and during the earnings call. So we'll surely be keeping you guys updated on Sundial. So if you're interested, feel free in subscribing to the channel. That'd be much appreciated. You guys get the most up-to-date Sundial stock news out there. So other than that, guys, keep in mind, I know this is financial advice, but have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.